A case with major implications in Oregon is going to be heard tomorrow in the U.S. Supreme Court. The issue at hand is how cities can enforce penalties against the homeless. Fox 12's Julia Lopez is in the studio tonight to break it down. Julia, exactly what is the court going to be looking at?
Well, I'm told the case centers around a woman in Grants Pass in southern Oregon who was being fined more than she could handle for living out of her car. Starting Monday, the U.S. Supreme Court is tasked with answering one big question out of Oregon.
To say that, look, these cities are essentially punishing people for the status of being homeless.
Nonprofit the Oregon Law Center is representing homeless people in Grants Pass, arguing the city's fines for camping or sleeping in public are a violation of the 8th Amendment, which prohibits cruel and unusual punishment.
Obviously, somebody who is without a home, probably one of the reasons is that they're strapped for cash.
Local law professor Tung Yin says these fines soar into the hundreds. He explains the 8th Amendment typically applies after someone is convicted of a crime. So this case, which deals with whether or not someone can be prosecuted at all, is unusual. Yin says in a similar case, the Supreme Court ruled a person cannot be punished for their status, only for their conduct.
Grants Pass is, in this current case, is trying to argue, no, we're punishing people for conduct.
The conduct, Yin says, is camping or setting up shelter outdoors. This exact issue has been discussed in the West before. In 2018, an appeals court in Boise, Idaho ruled the city cannot punish someone for sleeping outdoors if there's not shelter space available. That's the ruling Yin says Grants Pass is testing, and the one the court will either uphold or repeal.
Do we think that really is conduct, or is it really just another form of status?
According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, homelessness is at record numbers. The latest local counts show more than 7,000 people identified as homeless across Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas counties. That's why Yin says a repealing would have big implications for Portland.
There's only so much jail space available. There's also the public defender crisis here in Portland. Do we really have the infrastructure in place to be handling all those cases? Or is this just going to be a revolving door where the jails are essentially shelters?
Yin told me it's possible the justices could find a middle ground and outline a whole new way of handling the homeless crisis. We won't really know until the discussions start tomorrow. After that, a decision could come quickly, or it could take until the end of term in June. In studio, Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.
Julia, thank you. And Fox 12 is bringing you continuing coverage of this case. On our website at kptv.com, we will have links so that you can listen to the oral arguments live as they happen. And we'll also have the latest updates on Good Day Oregon tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Fox 12 will be the only live and local newscast once the arguments begin.